The most memorable line in the greatest script in Hollywood history was inspired by a dog. I'm Bill Newcott, film critic for the Saturday Evening Post, and this is Movies for the Rest of Us. Over the past century or so, the English language has been enriched by more than a few classic lines from Hollywood films. There's,
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
And of course there's...
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
And there's one that may be a bit less universally recognized, but is no less iconic. It's the final line from what a whole lot of movie historians agree is the greatest screenplay ever written.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. Pulled by his friends from the scene of an awful tragedy that has just unfolded on the streets of Los Angeles' Chinatown, a shell-shocked Jake Geddes, played by Jack Nicholson, has no choice but to take his pal's advice. Chinatown, directed by Roman Polanski and starring Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston, is marking its 50th anniversary with a splendid new 4K restoration available on Paramount Blu-ray disc.
Hello, Claude. Where'd you get the midget?
Borrowing the visual language of Hollywood's film noir era and resonating with a dreamily nostalgic score by Jerry Goldsmith, Polanski and his cast etch indelible portraits of ambition, greed, virtue, and, befitting the best of film noir, hopelessness.
See, Mr. Gitz, most people never have to face the fact that at the right time and the right place, they're capable of anything.
It's that sense of universal despair that screenwriter Robert Towne conjures up with that famous last line. Throughout the film, he presents the whole idea of Chinatown as representative of the futility of trying to make the world a better place. As Private Detective Jack Geddes, Nicholson explains it all to his employer-slash-lover, played by the mesmerizing Faye Dunaway.
Chinatown, everybody. To me, it was just bad luck.
What?
You can't always tell what's going on. Like with you.
In 2012, I chatted with screenwriter Robert Towne, who won an Oscar for the Chinatown script, about the genesis of that famous line and of the whole concept of Los Angeles Chinatown as a symbol of hopelessness. He told me he was already writing an early version of a period mystery starring Jack Nicholson, and he was looking for a literary hook. He found it, believe it or not, thanks to a dog.
Well, I bought him from a vice cop, a Hungarian vice cop called Tony Silas. I started talking with him, and I asked him what he did and where he worked. He was a vice cop, and he'd worked in Chinatown. I said, well, what do you do down there? And he said, nothing. And it's always a shock to hear a vice cop say, I don't do much of anything. And further questioning, he said, look, when you're there, you're in a completely alien culture with different dialects, different tongues, and you don't know what's going on. And so you can't really tell whether somebody comes to you and says a crime is being committed. You can't tell whether they're asking for your help to actually help commit the crime or prevent it. So I gave Geddes a background in Chinatown where, in trying to do something constructive, I soon realized that it was impossible to tell whether you're going to help prevent a crime or actually help commit one. In that sense, Chinatown really came to stand for its Chinatown, for the futility of good intention. They're really saying, basically, don't get involved.
Do you write the script heading towards that line, or does that come organically and like it's inevitably the only line you could have written at the end of the film?
I think it was inevitably the only line. What else can you say? Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Did you know it was a great line when you wrote it?
No, did not know it.
At what point did you like to see an audience reaction and realize, hey, that was it? Or when did you realize?
I don't know. It just sort of grew. It resonated with audiences, with people, and suddenly you realized it was a very important line.
Yeah, it's one of the great moments in movies.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Paramount's 4K restoration of Roman Polanski's Chinatown, written by Robert Towne and starring Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston, is available now.
All right, come on, clear the area. On the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk!
For the Saturday Evening Post and Movies for the Rest of Us, I'm Bill Newcott.